in order for you to have the true muscle fiber stimulation on your body. Fat loss equals weight loss, not weight loss. Weight loss equals muscle loss. Body shape is the person's responsibility, but the body type is what your mama gave you.
Everyone's different. Everyone's unique to their DNA. 85% of what you eat, you said it's even a little bit more.
Yeah.
So.
Hello, and thank you so much for joining us again at Fit Over 50, or like we say, Fit Up to 50 versus Fit Over 50. Either way, you want to be alive. You want to have a great quality life. Hey, I'm your boy, Tony Hill, host of the show, and my host, I have two other hosts that are mainly so important to me. Most important, though, first and foremost, is my salubrious.
No, come on, man. I get it. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. It is my punctilious partner of salubrious activities. I will break that down for you. Punctilious
Doug Jeffrey
is very regimented. So Tony is very regimented. He's committed his life to fitness, and he's all about giving back. And that's what this platform is all about, sharing and giving back. And salubrious just is some kind of healthy activity.
Oh,
that's all it is. So my punctilious partner of salubrious activities. I love to say that, actually. So good morning. What's happening?
Hey, man. Hey, brother, I had such an amazing week. Yesterday, oh my goodness, man. We just had the 10 biggest myths in the entertainment industry here in Las Vegas. And we had a great meeting. We're going to do we're going to be doing the next one in Los Angeles during Grammy week.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, so it's going to be crazy, man. So you're going to have to be there. So if you guys want to see, so audience out there, if you want to see Doug Jeffries live, and in person, you got to come to that event and see him. See how handsome he is. Look.
And congrats, man. That's an amazing thing, because there's so many ways to get into this industry, whether it's music, being an actor, or anything even behind the scenes. It's a gift. It's a blessing to be involved in this lovely creative industry, the force, which really does have an impact on our society.
Right.
People, trends, movies, music, everything.
Yeah.
And the fact with all the experience that you and your posse that have been in the music industry forever, to really break it down and give people an understanding of. It's a tricky little slippery slope.
You know what it is too, because it's like we did a lot of media yesterday as well, and a special shout out to Jeff Weber.
Jeff Weber was on the show. Hey, Jeff.
Jeff Weber, Grammy Award-winning producer, just an amazing friend for over 20 years. Prodigal Son, Sons of Man.
Prodigal Son was the one who said, I think fame is like a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's true. I love that, because it is. You got all these pieces, but you have to figure out how to put them together so you start to see that the picture start to evolve. And that's really what it is. It is.
And you know what's cool? And it's about relationships. I'm going to tell you something.
That's so true.
Prodigal and Michael are childhood friends.
That's really what it is. It's really
and Michael, he wasn't always this calm.
I think we all calm down with.
Hey, and speaking of Michael Green,
let's bring Michael in.
Rambo. We got a beautiful. He's in Sweden at his beautiful home in Sweden. We got to bring him on, because this man has taught me so much. I'm telling you, who say you can't learn? At 63, I'm still learning. And Michael's been an inspiration. And I tell you, Michael, we was talking about you yesterday. Was your ears burning?
I know. It was some good talks and congratulations.
Yeah.
On your latest accomplishment.
Yes.
Really...
he's here with me, right?
Oh wow. Okay.
He's
beautiful. That is beautiful.
In his room right now. Prodigal.
Oh, he's there?
Yeah, he's here with me. Yeah,
get him to come on down, man. Wake his butt up. Come on, wake him up, man. I enjoy him, man.
I told him, I said, Michael would love to talk to you, man. It's probably been a minute.
That would be a lovely thing.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a really, really good time. We were talking about how Mike's life has changed and what he used to be back in the day. You know, he beast, straight beast. Michael didn't take nothing from nobody back in the day. And just if you hear him right now, you look at the smile. It looked like, he looked like a pushover right now. You know, he looks so nice, so humble.
So what was he like before? I have no reference.
And you ever let me say this though. Why you think he's all the way in beautiful Sweden? Another thing, special shout out to the Swedish people. But they already knew who he was when they seen him. They just called him Rambo.
Rambo.
So you know what Rambo did to.
What was the other one, Tony? You'll Gibbons from the Hood.
Yeah, so he actually. So if you know the name they gave Michael, see, I'm looking at it a little deeper now that that I know Rambo. Michael was the Rambo of the hood, man. I'm telling you, Michael didn't take no stuff, man.
There's nothing like inner city, infused youth.
Yes.
That really don't have no type of direction. The dads are not at home.
Yeah.
You growing up with a single mom.
Yeah.
So it can be tough. So these are some of the things that I experienced growing up in my youth, and growing up in New York, it was quite tough. You had to fight, and you had to let people know that you weren't a pushover. Yeah. And and for me, I was part of that life, but now I'm so grateful that I was able to change my life around for the better good, and also find my purpose in life to serve my communities and also help other human beings.
That's what it's really about. It was funny, Mike. I remember you telling
Mike for president.
We talked before about it, where you grew up, where there wasn't, the healthy foods. And it was funny. I did a little show where, true story, where a gentleman, inner city, planted a garden on a public sidewalk, and he was actually arrested for it.
Oh, wow.
And based on true story, and going through the process, they were able to change the law. So, because in those areas, it's all fast foods. You don't have vegetables and all those healthy things. So
it's so
important. Food deserts, exactly. Yes. That's what it's about.
We were talking about that yesterday, Mike. Food deserts, yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is continue on
our lovely Captain Crunch saga.
Oh yeah, because we still had. You know what I was telling you guys this morning. I was looking at some things, man. I found out. The FDA started in 1906.
1906, wow.
And you know what they were called then? Pure Food and Drugs Act. It was the Pure Food and Drugs Act, and it wasn't until the 1930s that it was actually called the FDA, simply because what they did was other chemicals and stuff was actually being involved in the packaging things of certain.
As it evolved, yeah,
exactly. And in what I'm reading here is the Bureau of Chemistry's name changed to FDA. Think about that.
Wow.
And in July 1927. When the non-regulatory research functions of the Bureau were transferred elsewhere in the department in July 1930, the name was shortened to present of FDA. Then the FDA was born from the Food and Drug and Insecticide Administration.
Wow.
The Bureau of Chemistry.
As science started to move so quickly,
yes,
there was an awareness of like, okay, what are you spraying our foods with? What are you doing to our foods to make sure they're not poisoning us? And Tony, when did the FDA come out with that they have to put everything on, every ingredient needs to be listed on the packaging? When did that come out?
It looks like because when the bill hit, the origin of the bill started. Let me see. It says, actually, this goes back to in 1897. Nearly 100 bills had been introduced to Congress to regulate food and drugs. June 30, 1906, President Roosevelt founded or signed in the FDA. So in 1906, he brought it in. So from 1906, 1930 is when they actually said, listen, we got to put down everything that's in that food. Now, you do know, because of how what I'm looking at, the history of this whole thing, when the President Roosevelt signed in the FDA, you got to understand the evolution that happened. Now they don't have to put certain things on labels. Mm-hmm. So a good point is what Michael was talking about. In Sweden, it can't be 90% organic.
Yeah, the EU, the truly organic.
Where he's from, they have to, if you put organic, non-GMO, whatever, it better be exactly 100% that. In America, it changed. And this is where, I don't know if you remember this, Doug, when Whole Foods started jumping the ship. Remember, we used to be able to shop at Whole Foods and everything was labeled correctly. And then Whole Foods jumped on the ship. Hey, you know what? We don't have to tell you that this is GMO or not in depth. You see? And then Whole Foods started, this was way back. I remember when it happened. But in the 1930s is actually when they started having to literally write down everything that we buy from cosmetics.
No, it was later than that, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, actually, that was around the same time that the first vitamins were discovered. Vitamin B1,
right?
Yeah,
but 33. They were all connected. The FDA was connected to German chemists.
Yeah, because it started in 1879. Mm-hmm. In 1879, there was 100 bills sent to Congress because there was an awareness that, hold up, we got to know what we're taking and we got to know what we're eating.
Yeah, absolutely. And to this day, they still FDA, they regulate all labels, but except the meat, poultry, and also eggs. They don't
here it is. In 1966, the USDA mandated that the list of ingredients must be placed on all products participating in interstate commerce due to consumer demand for the accurate.
Right. So that was the USDA. That wasn't the FDA.
So USDA, that's for the audience. That's United States Drug Administration, right?
Right. The FDA is a little.
But what I'm saying is when the awareness came about, we want to know what we're eating.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 1987, right, Doug?
No, 1966.
Okay. Oh, wow.
And then the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act took effect in 1938, requiring all artificial flavoring, coloring, and chemical preservatives all to be put on other products.
That's crazy.
So that awareness of what we're putting on, our face, from lotions to whatever, and everything, has a label on it. You don't know what it really truly is. And the sad thing is, versus where Mike is, the EU is much more stringent as far as these principles, because here in the US there's huge lobbyists. These lobbyist groups are going to go, hey man, you can't do that. Let's here, we're going to give you this donation. We're going to do this. So it gets kind of overlooked, which that's not really being honest to the American public. It's
now it's the USDA has kind of got a little bit more strict with the organic labels. So if you have that USDA organic sticker on your food products or vitamins, let's say, they're saying now that it must be at least 95% organic.
Okay. If it says organic in the United States.
Yeah, in the United States. Here it has to be 100%.
Yeah, but why wouldn't that be the common denominator throughout this world? Exactly. What is it? Obviously they still want to try and get away with different things. It's very manipulative and all.
It's just like people don't understand when I go inside a store. It's a little off subject, but if I go ask for a size 13, they're like, what are you talking about? You mean a size 47? right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or they say instead of feet and inches, they use meters.
Right.
Well, metric, because we're one of the only other countries that aren't on the the whole metric scale, correct? There's only, I think there's one or two other ones throughout the world that don't use.
Yeah. Because see, I go to somebody and said, boy, it's 19 degrees outside. They go,
yeah.
no, it ain't.
Over here, they use everything is Celsius.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit from the U.S.
Yes, exactly.
From the U.S. Celsius. Actually, his name is Anders Celsius. He is a Swedish guy, and he's the one that came up with Celsius for the temperature.
Oh, look at you, full of knowledge, man. It's always a pleasure to be around you, Mike. You elevate me and us, actually.
Likewise, both of you, likewise.
I have to put weights in my pocket, man, because every time I talk to you, I'm elevated, bro. You know? I gotta stay to the ground, bro.
Yeah. So based on our lovely Captain Crunch topic last week, it is just fascinating what they are pushing off as healthy breakfast items. It's really, they're loaded with sugar. They're loaded with all these, as we talked before, yellow 5, yellow 6, yellow 7, that are carcinogenic elements that our children are consuming on a regular basis. So I understand that we talked before, Captain Crunch is going to be basically retired based on just these high levels of sugar. And you could go through, I would say 95% of cereals that are out there that the second or third ingredients is some type of sugar.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it does, segueing on to, I think we talked about Michael showing some a very distinct. I love the way he exercises. So when we talk about the food, the exercise has a lot of truth in it where it burns calories. But if the food quality is bad, then the exercise is useless. Not 100%, but you can't get the full effect out of it. Now there is some problems that people say about exercise as we segue into how we want to know how Mike actually trains. There's one system that he does that I really like, and I'm looking forward to seeing that, Mike, today. But some people say you can literally target your fat burn. No, you can't. You see all these watches and everything that people they look, and I said that's bioimpedance. That's electrobioimpedance. That's not really an accurate thing. If you want to be accurate, I tell them get the strap here, like the EKG sensors, right directly under your heart, and that will kind of regulate more accurately what's going on with your heart instead of this thing that they sell all the time. Because
all those gadgets and everything.
Oh
yeah, and Tony, correct me if I'm wrong. Cardio, it's going to burn calories first. Yes. And then after, if you don't have that caloric intake, then it's going to start, it'll start converting the body fat to fuel for the body. Is that correct?
Well, what happens is that's partially what I figured out over the years. It's a 2-minute, if you look at it, exercise simply means movement. In meaning, it's the degree or the intensity of the movement that determines the fat burning process or the body's need to utilize the fat. This is our goal. If the body can use the fat, then what happens is the muscles grow because of muscular cellular division, subdivision. The muscles grow, the skin gets tighter. The skin, that's how it's supposed to work. Now, what happens is in a 2-minute thing, I've watched this. The first minute is an introduction. So when you're doing exercises, you're strong. The first minute, we're talking maybe 12, 15 reps. You're focused, you're concentrated. Now what happens is the lactic acid, that 30 seconds. So now we're in the activity for 1 minute and 30 seconds. That 30 seconds, now the lactic acid is about to reach an intolerable level to where the person goes, oh, now that last 30 seconds of that 2-minute thing, the body literally burns the fat. That process, Muhammad Ali said it very clear. When the pain comes, then the change comes. Now, what happens if your food is bad? what happens is that process doesn't work if you don't have rest, hydration, and a proper nutrition for your body. Because what happens is when you're going through that and you feel that lactic acid burn, the body can't recognize that because it doesn't have the fuel. So what it uses as fuel is the muscle, which is called atrophy. So instead of it burning fat, it stores the fat and it uses the muscle. And so you don't get muscle growth, which is hypertrophy. Every time you train, you should get some change in your body.
Yeah,
but your food is
but there's aerobic and there's anaerobic.
Right.
Anaerobic is what's what's going into the muscle to find the energy to do it, right?
No, well, you got aerobic
and anaerobic.
Anaerobic is without oxygen.
Correct. So when you're doing a push-up, for example, right? That's anaerobic. So when you're doing a push-up, that's involving muscles. Now, what does muscles need to function? They need energy. What is energy? It's fat. But see, the muscles can't recognize the source unless you eat, you rest, you hydrate. It's like you can't drive your car without gas, but you can look at it and tell it's a car. But see, when you're doing muscle work, you can't get muscle. Let me explain. Muscle can't mature without fat, and fat the body won't let go if you're unhealthy.
Okay, but I'm a big fan of Atkins, Lindora, all the ketogenic, and the ketogenic is basically our bodies when they were created. Food wasn't prevalent, so when you would eat, it would store it. You'd have that reserve, and then without the carbohydrates in your body, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Without carbohydrates in your body, it is using those stored reserves to energize the body, which at that point you're truly burning fat. Is that correct?
No, that's why that diet was killing people.
Well, obviously it's meant for short-term things. It's what a bodybuilder would do. He would carb deplete to.
Well, see, but here's the thing, though. Here's what people are missing. I get this all the time, Doug. And what people are missing is you cannot base science on someone else, because back then the food was different. You see. So if you take that research and put it today, it'll never work because it's not the same concept.
Your body is still in ketosis.
Correct.
After 48 hours of not eating carbohydrates. You can eat fat, you can eat protein, but there's fats, carbohydrates, and proteins. You remove that energy source, then it is converting the stored fat as energy. That is ketosis.
But actually, along with that comes muscle loss as well. Because I was a competitive bodybuilder. You stay in that situation long enough, you see the body begins to catabolize itself, and that's the problem.
Kidney and livers too.
That's the problem.
Muscles I get a lot of my carbohydrates from certain herbs.
Yeah.
And remember, carbohydrate. So the body does need carbon. The body does need hydrogen. Hydrate, water.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that I get it from the plants because it's stored in there as a natural source. And
see where you live, though, Michael. Where you live is not where we live.
Yeah, exactly.
You see what I mean?
Where it's 100%.
I think what we have to do, and this is what I found traveling all over the world, and you too, Doug. All of us has been all over the world, and you could probably attest to this. America is the most unhealthy country on the planet.
Well, what was
we like to take other people's culture and try to apply it to ours. And I tell people all the time, when I was in Europe, I'd have bread every day. And I lost 10 pounds. And I looked really good. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's what's in our food. It was funny. I was going to do a job for Weight Watchers, and what Weight Watchers is going to do, they're interfacing with I think it's called Gnome, which is a company that is basically prescribing weight loss drugs. Which I'm and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I don't believe in that. I think you have to find your own way. Your body is designed and built to figure that out. And there's no shortcuts in this. I mean, truly.
It's medicine.
So true. So true, Doug. So true, man.
Yeah, it's everybody's hustling. Oh, well, if you take this or you do this or you do that, there's no shortcuts. You just have to make that commitment and figure out how your body functions on, that's why awareness is so important.
That's why it's so beautiful too, because some people say lifting weights bulks up women. Well, there's a reason it bulks up a woman, because the muscle's going to grow regardless. But because of the estrogen levels in women, with the water and the muscle growth, they're going to get bulk because they don't have the testosterone that we have that creates leaner muscle. You see, that's why we're built differently. And then some people say like crunches are the best moves for your abs. No, it ain't. Nutrition is.
There you go, Bob. That is so true. That is so true. You could do sit-ups, leg raises till you are blue in the face. If you do not understand how this beautiful creation that was given to us works, you'll never get them.
Yeah. And then they say, if I exercise, it would ease my bad diet. Oh man, that's a good one. or they say, if I exercise, oh my God, when I'm stressful, I go to the gym and train. I says, all you're doing is adding a different kind of stress on top of your stress. You don't release nothing. You just add to.
Yeah, when you are stressed, the cortisol levels are kicking way up.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that relates to, especially in men. I mean,
and then they say you spend hours. See, I only spend like maybe my exercise program is maximum 30 minutes, and then I'll probably do 20 minutes of cardio, and I'm going home.
Yeah, well, next time we're going to look at what Mike does, and next time I'll do my little video. Then Tone, you'll do yours.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if I'm busy, I'll go. I'll hit it hard for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And within that 15 minutes of nonstop, push-ups, jump rope, lunges, just nonstop in that little period of time. It seems to work. Those days of doing 2 hours in the gym. I don't think we can do that anymore because we're seasoned. We're not old. We're seasoned.
Yeah, it's not good anyway. So, hey, Michael.
Let's take a look at.
Let's watch and see what Michael.
Yeah, let's see what Mike does.
That Michael's used.
Thank you for sharing too, Mike.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a joy. Sliding disc exercises are challenging full body workouts that strengthens your core, but also promotes endurance, stamina, flexibility, and also stability. So let me show you how it's done.
That's great, man.
Hey, I like those socks.
Yeah, those things are great, man. You look amazing too, by the way.
Thank you.
You look totally. You look great, man. What an interesting.
I like that.
That's pretty neat, actually.
Thank you. Yeah, the sliding disc that was like an introduction. I have hundreds of exercises with the sliding disc, and actually coming soon, I'm gonna have a whole like online program with that.
Wow. I like the push-up. To me, that's fascinating because I love push-ups, and that is a whole new movement within that traditional movement.
Yeah, well, Tony knows this. This is what we call a multifunctional exercise.
Exactly.
When you're using different body parts, you kind of spice it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But for me now, over 50, I typically go with 4 components. That's going to be my cardio, it's going to be my flexibility, my motor skills, and also my strength training. So those are my 4 components, and I try to intertwine them in each workout. Right. But at the same time, I do not need to be in the gym over an hour no more. It's right. No.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. When now for the people that they're spending time on their phone and then they're chit-chatting in the gym with other people, yeah, they could easily stay over an hour.
Yeah.
If you go in there and you mean business,
yeah,
you're in and out.
Yeah.
So the benefits of that disc, what I was watching you and your movements, even though they look simple, because they look very simple, but I can see that each movement involved, say for example, when you were doing the lunge, the reverse lunge.
Yes.
And I watched the position. The reverse lunge is one of my favorites because it's less stress on the knee. But what I watched mechanically is when you started in a lower position, engaging the muscle, giving it that stability that it needed. But when you extended that leg, you got that hamstring, that hip flexor, you got that soleus at the same time.
A little isolation too.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was really amazing, man. We're gonna have an exercise corner, man. Shoot.
Yeah. We again, I have plenty of videos on that as well as calisthenics.
I'm writing that,
which is good, and anything to get the heart rate up. And if we want to, we could even go into it because we do have some. I'm pretty sure some old school audience, out there that's watching in. And I'm sorry about that. Hold on. This is.
That was me actually.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I was looking. I thought it was me.
What you can do for the people that's not with the technology with the watches, we can have a show perhaps where we can show people how to take their own pulse.
Yes,
that would be great.
Take your own pulse, which can be life-saving if you're jammed up in a car accident or if you're just out. And also if somebody is down, learning how to check their pulse. And, you could, when EMS is on the way, you can let them know if this person has a pulse or not. And you could actually give them the count itself. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, as we age, I mean, it's not a bad idea. You can go out and purchase the blood pressure where you get all those numbers, and it's really not a bad idea. My business partner has one of those crazy. I guess it's called an what is it? A athlete's heart, where his resting heart rate is like in the 30s.
Yeah, if they take his EKG, it'll look like he's having a heart attack.
Well, the resting heart rate, because the normal resting heart rate is up around what, 60 or 70.
Yeah,
his is like in the 30s, and it's an athlete's heart.
Wow.
And if he's not moving, he's tired. But once he starts to move, I mean, he looked at it as I have a heart condition, but I'm like, dude, you're blessed. You got some crazy heart.
Yeah. Well, there's a special method that sometimes my clients they ask me. Well, Mike, I have this new Fitbit and this watch and it's malfunctioning and I want to find my target heart rate. And I say, okay, now check this out. We could use this old method and just try it. And you minus your age, the number 220.
Yes, exactly.
Let's say if I'm 50 and I minus that 220, I get 170. Okay.
Why do they do 220, Michael?
Yeah, 220. That's the I believe his name is Carvanen. It's the Carvanen.
Correct. Because when I tell people that, the baby's heartbeat was beating at 220 beats a minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that well.
There you go. So now when you get that, you have, you got that 170. So that is like, it's not your target heart rate, but
correct.
You don't want to go over that because you'll be in the red.
Right.
So then you take a percentage of that 170, I would say 30%. I'm sorry, about maybe 60%, 70%, and you could be what you call in your zone.
Where I'm sorry, Mike. You get me going. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's they talk about that target because there's that target heart rate where you're not pushing the level, but you're in that burning, the burning mode, if you will.
Yes.
I'm absolutely. I do. When I do go to the gym, I'll do the treadmill, and it gives you the readers when you put your hands on it when you're walking. And And I always found it fascinating because when I get to that point where I'm not stressing myself, but it feels good and you can push. You know, my heart rate is 162, which I was born in 62. So I don't know if there's any correlation to that, but I just found it interesting.
Amazing. And you look amazing, Doug. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he does, don't he?
What's going on? Is it a little Benjamin Buttons going on there?
Ah, it was funny. I just had my physical, right? And I did the telemed where the doctor calls me back, and you know, the funniest thing, these guys were characters of a doctor, man. They were just like giving me a hard time. He goes, hey, he calls me, leaves a message, goes, hey, I got some good news and I got some bad news. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. It's only good news. He was kidding me. And all my numbers, like everything, my testosterone, and I'm like, thank God that, and I related to, it's something that I've been doing since, 15 years old, as far as, working out and always, trying to put the correct foods within my diet. And I mean, correct for me, because as I keep saying, we're all different based on our DNA. And, and some people don't, I still want to keep that like you, Mike, you're, tall, lean, and, based on your age. I mean, I put you up against like maybe somebody in their, 20s, and you could probably give them a run for their money, which speaks volumes versus the average person within that age category. Because, we're in Los Angeles, or New York. When we start going to middle America, you're getting people in their 30s that really need to really create that awareness, because it only gets harder as we stay on this planet longer.
Yeah. And for me, to be at my height, my weight.
How tall are you, Mike?
I am 6'2". So right now at 6'2", I am 194 pounds.
That's a great weight for you.
That's a
you
good
look
weight.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, I mean, I could sprint. I could run, and remember, I got to be able to run from these bears and everything. Rambo. I don't take no mess, but Rambo ain't got nothing on no bear.
You know what? What I would love to do, if we can all be in the same, the same city, the same country, it would be great. Because myself and Tony used to do this when we were on when we were doing the Amazon platform, where we would just do little competitions. It's so much fun. Based on all of, we all have different kind of skill levels based on what we've been doing, but just to try and put it to the test, it would bring so much joy to me.
Absolutely.
Just getting out there and just knocking around.
Here's a new trainer.
Oh my goodness. Look at that big boy there. Woo.
Look at him. Hey, see.
Look at
him. Look at the birdie. Look at the bird. Look.
Tony, what is he eating? What does he eat a day?
Actually, the way we feed him, we can eat the food.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Very sweet dog too, actually.
Yeah, he's right here beside me. Yeah, he's about almost 100 pounds.
Okay.
He's 7 years old. We keep him lean, man. Though.
Yeah. Got to get that exercise in. And by the way, it's because sometimes you have people out there that they don't have no hope.
Yeah.
And I told a lady this one day, and she couldn't believe me until she tried it. I said, do you know that you can walk at a speed where you can burn as many calories as somebody that's jogging? When you put that pep in your step, right, and you get walking, you could burn as many calories. And I said, you could do this right around your neighborhood. It doesn't take much at all. And she started trying it, and then lo and behold, she started losing weight. And now she's inside of the gym. Yeah. And she's doing, what she can. Right. And I'm helping her along the way. But it all started with that. And it started with a walk. That first step. And there's a saying, if you can't walk, you crawl. Right. If you can't crawl, swim. You know, like do something.
Yeah, it's you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And you know, even people that are, you know, up in 70, 80 that might have different ailments going on, but it's still, if you get out there and just move, it's amazing. And
hey, Doug and Tony, I'm gonna tell you something. And I got some video footage of it, but I have to put it together in a certain way. So out here, and I have to get permission when I'm filming these people. You have grandmothers over 80. My wife's grandmother, she's about 86 now. She rides a bicycle every day.
God bless her. That's what it's about.
You have women and men over 80, over 90 still on their bicycles.
Wow.
And they said that we rather ride a bicycle than get in a car, you know, because it promotes that laziness.
Right.
So they're on their bikes, man, and they're trucking and they're going right down that road and they got the biggest smiles on their face.
Yeah,
that ticker is ticking.
As we get older.
Wow.
Yeah, it was funny. I was in New York last week working, and you know, it's amazing. Just, I mean, we were doing 7 miles a day because that is the when you live there, you know, in LA, you get in your car and drive, even if you're going across the street. In New York, you walk everywhere. So we were averaging like 7 miles a day. And I was eating pizza every single day, and I lost weight.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
It's just amazing. That's why it's so important that you just have to get out there. And as you said, Mike, it starts just with walking.
Yeah.
And then one step at a time. And then next thing you know, you're moving on, but it's making that commitment to yourself. And that's what
and when we're being honest with the people out there, is that no, it's not an easy thing. It's not, but you're going to get rewarded for your efforts. And it all starts with you. When you think about it, it has nothing to do with nobody else.
Right.
It's you making that first move. Now, we are the ones that can assist you all the way. Right. But we can't do that if you're not willing to make that first step. Right. So that's why we have Tony, you know, we have Doug, we have me, and that we're going to have your back. We're going to assist you. We're going to guide you every step of the way. Right. But it all starts with the individual.
Yeah, you know what, Mike? We talked about the Carvonin formula.
Yes.
And the interesting thing about that, I just found out, it's not the baby's heartbeat. What it is Carvonin actually figured out that the maximum heart rate of a human, it's literally 220. So your heart rate can actually beat at a maximum of 220 beats per minute. Because the average heartbeat of a baby can go as high as 147.
Wow. Oh, that makes sense, because then you just knock your age down from it, which would be
right. But Carvonin proved this, that the average human heart rate could beat at 220 beats per minute maximum. So he took that minus the age of the person.
Yes. That's it.
Because that age actually tells you, okay, because of your age, your heart rate better not go higher than this number.
Yeah, but if you look at, you know, devil's advocate here, if you look at somebody that's, you know, your age, Tony, 63, that doesn't really do anything, I guarantee that you have two different sides of the.
But I do, because when I use the Carvonin theory, right? When I use the Carvonin formula, my maximum heart rate, because of my age, based on the 220 minus my age, is actually 161. So see, for my age, because that's me functioning at 80%. Yeah, but see, I gotta train at 170. I can consistently train at 170 beats per minute. I gotta get there in order to really exercise. So see, it's like BMI, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, guys. Hold on. I got to get this.
Okay. Yeah. So Tony, I want to talk about when we said that I was going to come out and we were both going to jump out of an airplane.
Yeah.
Did you do it already? You were going to get, what's that?
Did you do it?
Well, I still want you to do this. I want to get one of those Fitbits or Apple Watches, and I want to see what our resting heart rate is normally. And then when we get up in that airplane, they open the door and they say, "We got to jump." I want to see whose heart rate is higher, yours or mine.
Hey, we ain't got to do that. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Well, Mike will do it. When Mike comes back, he's going to come out from Sweden, and we're all going to go jump out of an airplane. And we're going to see who's got more control over their heart rate.
Brother, I give up on that. But I'm a roller coaster freak too, so.
Yeah, but why not? I mean, it's just, it's just that first step.
Doug, man, I don't know why you want to jump out of a plane, brother.
Hey, Mike, we were just talking. So at one point, I was trying to get Tony to jump out of an airplane with me.
Okay.
And
look at my ear.
Is that the bucket list? Like with Morgan Freeman and what's the name of the movie they had? The bucket list.
Yeah.
The bucket list.
No,
so I want to get an Apple Watch. I want to get an Apple Watch, and I want to see what our resting heart rate is on the ground. Then right before we jump, I want to see who's got the lower resting heart rate, me or him.
Hey, I can tell you right now, I won't have the lowest heart rate.
Jump out of the plane, man. Right? Oh man! Wow! You talking about a thrill?
Hey, but Michael, me and Doug, we went rock climbing before. When we was with, yeah.
That was actually really. You know what? We should actually show a clip of that next week.
Some of the stuff we did.
Yeah, it's amazing when it's why it's so important that you diversify what you're doing, because your body just gets used to it. And I'm like, I'm in shape. After climbing up those, 20 some feet in the air.
Yeah.
We were both exhausted.
Yeah.
I can't imagine with the altitude and everything like that, because they have some mountains out here.
But we did it indoor. We did it indoor.
It was one of the rock climbing.
It's still the same.
I got myself into some trouble. And the thing is that I went to this mountain in Sweden, and it said, you could take the long way, and then it says shortcut. So I said, okay, I'm going to go with the shortcut. Man, it was nothing short about that cut.
Really?
Yeah, then I didn't have the right shoes on for it. And then once I got halfway up, I couldn't turn back down. And I had to hold on. There was like ropes that you had to grab onto because there was rocks and everything like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but man, oh man. And I was like, the altitude and everything affected my breathing.
What was the altitude, Mike?
I'm not for sure. I'm not for sure of the number, but I could tell in my breathing that I was like, wait, hold on. I said, okay, well, we'll keep going. And man, once I got at the top, I felt so rejuvenated.
Right.
And then the view, it's just like, oh man. And then I stayed up there for about an hour. Yeah. And I said, okay, now it has to be more easier going back down than it was coming up.
Yeah.
It was a big accomplishment, and it made me more interested in going up mountains and everything. Not Kilimanjaro. In fact, Kilimanjaro is one of the most is one of the biggest waste dumps in the world right now.
Really?
People go up there.
People go up there leaving all their tent equipment, the food, the leftover food and everything. It's horrible. Wow. And I'm like, why would you do that to that beautiful mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny. Yeah, I had gone to Machu Picchu and had the honor privilege of going there. It was pretty amazing. And we got to, I think it was like 16,000 feet. And it's amazing. You take 2 steps and you're like, it's extremely difficult. So it's a great way to train too. They say
it is high altitude training.
Why do you think the Kenyans win all the marathons over in the States? It's the altitude in which they're training.
Oh yeah.
So they're over here, man. They jog like how I sprint. So the Kenyans always winning the marathons, and like to beat them.
6 minute miles for
what?
A 6 minute. Well, that's what they run. They're running these marathons. A 6 minute mile that's a full blown sprint.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they don't stop. I call them human gazelles.
And they're thin too, which is a very fascinating. Where does that energy come from? They're not loaded. They're all lean and what are they burning?
They're burning the same fuel. It's just their diet is different.
Yeah.
They eat like. I'll give you an example. When I was in Kauai, there was I watched them make poi. And in other countries, especially high endurance athletes, they focus on things that are pure carbohydrates. Poi is very high in calcium, and it's a great source of carbohydrates. They make it from a root in the ground. And in Africa, their nutrition, they use a lot of different roots. That's why they're so lean, and their protein is very, very lean as well. Because hey,
Tony, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So as a last resort, let's say there's no carbohydrate reserves, right. There's no fat reserves. Can the body use protein as a fuel, and can it burn from that?
Well, what happens is the body has a survival mechanism that, and in special forces, they get to that level. And what happens is that the body can survive for a few days after that if nothing's going on, because you have to go through literally everything in your body. After a while, the body starts to use, from your feces to your urine as hydration. And then, of course, the muscles begin to break down. And as the muscle tissue begins to break down, this is when you go into, I would probably say, like a euphoric mental thing where you get disoriented. Then the brain starts to, consume itself. So literally what happens is when you don't have those sources, right, the body begins to consume itself literally as fuel. And you die from within. It's a very excruciating death, because the special forces have to experience their cutting edge. Because I remember when we went to survival training and we only had a canteen of water. And so what we had to do when they dropped us off in the woods, we had a compass and a map, but we had a place where we had to go to eat. Now, let me tell you something. It's really tough when you got no food. You can eat a big breakfast. It still ain't gonna matter, because once they drop you off, your mind need to nourish, and you have a canteen and you have a certain amount of time to get to that destination so that you can eat. And the thing is that the body will literally, the muscle is actually, what we try to avoid is atrophy. We really try to avoid that. But because of diets and stuff like that, people get it even when they have access to food. They don't understand that muscle loss, that means your muscle is being used as energy, and your fat is actually stored. Because the body, I tell people, I says, listen, if you knew that an emergency was coming, what would you do? I would store up. I said, now that's what the body does. Now, if you don't have that storage, then the body has no choice but to get the organs, and the muscles is the last resort. And it literally starts to fuel. And it's a very painful, excruciating death, because when I was in that survival training in the military, I was new at a compass. Okay. So I had to shoot an azimuth. It was two of us, only two. So they dropped us off. We had to shoot an azimuth of north. True north, we had to find true north. Once we found true north, we had to follow the compass and the map so that we can get to so we can eat. So when you have your buddy there, after 3 or 4 hours, what happens is you can feel your body start to kind of panic. And what happens is psychologically, you only got a canteen of water, and now you got no food. So what do you do now? So the brain clicks into survival mode. And what happens is you start to lose weight real fast. It's really a crazy thing, man, to feel that. Because in my case, I followed the wrong end of the compass. And I got too far out from a way and this is how, in answer to your question, Mike, the body first will drive toward the organs because it needs the muscle. But with that muscle, it gives as much organ function as possible. But once we're talking brain, we're talking liver, kidney. Once that's broken down, brother, by God's grace, man, and I'm here, I can tell the story. I actually this is when I learned to read a compass. I says, well, I told my partner, and we was on the edge, y'all. We was on the edge. And I mean,
how long were you out there without food?
Oh my God, it was hours, man. It was hours, bro. And it was hot. It was in the summer. Yeah. So when the military do survival training, trust me, it's
So don't they say you can live 7 days without water and
approximately days
without
you can.
Food.
And then how about food? Is food 30 days or something like that?
20, I think 20 to 30
days.
It's
between 20 to 30 days. But here's where the deciding factor. It's your current body weight, and it's how you are as a person that determines those days. Because what happens is, yes, you can, but I tell you, when you're panicking and when you're stressed and when you that whole brother, when I got so far out, we were hearing things that we're not supposed to hear. And so I actually got my head right. And I says, hold up, if we got here in this spot, then maybe we can backtrack following the compass. And when we backtrack hours later, we were where we started, but we wasn't where the food was. So you talking about a state of panic? It wasn't enough water in my canteen. It wasn't enough. My body, you talking about, you know how you have gas and you can't really get rid of it. It's like a cramp in your abdomen.
Yes.
When that passes, let me tell you something, guys.
Yeah.
It's a scary thing because now you're getting weak with every step.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the special forces learn to trigger that because you can be a prisoner of war.
Yeah, once you understand it and you recognize it, you know what it is. What was the gentleman's name that you did this with?
Oh, I don't even remember, man. It was 19.
At one point where you're looking at him and go, man, little catchman mustard on you. You take
Hey, you know what? The Dahmer party.
That was a joke, guys.
Hey, the Dahmer party, literally, I can understand it.
Yeah, you guys just gave me an idea.
Yeah,
I'm thinking for the audience and also for us and the viewers, people that's watching out there, that I think that I could show them perhaps one Sunday some survival plants that's out in the forest.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, some survival that when I'm out there, I eat some for hydration, and you could identify them also through the scientific name, and also some plants that give you the water that you need because they're over 90% water anyway. And also it's coming up to mushroom season. So there's these wonderful mushrooms out there that you can also eat. And I'm going to see the ones that's also in the US. So it's more like a universal.
That would be great, actually, because I think in this, in this day and age, people think food comes from supermarkets or McDonald's.
Yeah. Wait till they get a load of the blueberry forest. That's going to blow their socks off. Yeah, so we're talking about billions and billions of blueberries.
Wow.
That I could just pick. But the thing is about that is when they get right, the most dangerous part about it is the bears. But these bears out here, they are gracious enough and humble enough. They do a special whistle. They do a whistle, and they let you know that they're in the area. So not to mistake a human whistle. It's a different whistle. Yeah. I'm trying to mimic it, but I want to do it where I could put it up in a video. And the bears whistle, and they let you know they're in the area. And my God, if you see cubs, then you
hightail it out of there.
Yeah, let me get my charger.
You need to get out the way.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing to see because, as I said, it's knowledge is power, and different generations are, have no idea where food actually truly comes from.
Yeah, and Doug, we could show like the difference between the cultivated blueberries, which when you cut them open, they're white inside, white flesh. And then the blueberries that I pick in the forest is that when you cut them open, it's this dark purple color.
Really?
You have the wild blueberry versus the cultivated blueberry. Now, the cultivated ones that you buy in the store, they do still have some nutritional value. However, nothing tops
nothing tops
that you pick right from nature. And the blueberries out here in Europe, and it's pretty widespread throughout Europe. But it was some British soldiers that used to use blueberry jam to improve their eyesight. They were pilots, and they was fighting in World War II, and it would improve their eyesight at night. So when you look at it, blueberries contain a mighty phytochemical called beta carotene.
Exactly.
Huge
beta carotene. This is where carrots come from.
Right.
So carotene, carotenoids, that's in the eye.
Yeah.
So it's all connected to the eye. So they was eating this blueberry jam, and lo and behold, nighttime, the vision improved.
Wow.
The blueberries are great for your vision.
Yeah. So hey, that's and then we're gonna have a guest too. We're gonna have a special guest next week.
Who's our guest?
I'll let you guys know that it's gonna be
a surprise. Yeah, so next week I'm gonna do my little workout, and you're gonna see I have a lovely organic little farm in my area where I basically picking peppers right off the plant. And then
so is it going to be, are you going to be standing and sitting with your workout? I'm just kidding, Doug. I'm just playing with you.
Yeah.
Doug looks so serious when
that'll be the background.
That's
why I do my little workout in my little garden out there. So you'll see, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, Japanese eggplant.
Have you guys seen this?
Super.
What is that?
Oh, wow. Wow, okay, that's a
now, this is an amazing training tool. If you guys are like, when you talk about high altitude,
you
see that inside?
It's got a breather on it, right?
Correct. It's what happens is if you want to create high altitude training that will increase your oxygen uptake, you wear this mask while you're training. It will mimic mounting training.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And what happens is when it comes off, oh my God, I mean, your breathing is so much better. Your lung capacity is so much stronger. Your oxygen exchange, your heart is good. So what you do is you put it here like that. You see?
Yeah, man, you look like the what's the name right now? The Black Bane. Batman was a Bane.
Yeah.
Superhero, man.
So you train with this, right? But the thing is, you got to control your breathing because it's about 4,000 up.
Wow.
Yeah, so when you take it off, you're getting so much more oxygen.
Oh my God! When you take it off, you can feel.
You must feel like
Oh, that's amazing.
So for lung endurance and heart, I just showed you that. That's one of the things I use when I train.
Thanks, man. Wow. And before we get off, guys, before I forget, because I don't have my pen and my pad, I like to write stuff down before I forget. But now that we're live and everything, is that maybe further down the line, a month or so, that is it possible we could have a discussion on how AI and will AI threaten our jobs as trainers, as actors, and so forth and so on? Because now I'm seeing the cashiers are going, the assembly line at the old, remember the Ford factories are that is all that's AI. So is that something to be concerned about as we move forward into the future?
I think it definitely is. I mean, you had mentioned Whole Foods. There's a Whole Foods right around the corner from me. You literally walk in and it scans everything that you put in a basket, take it out, then you walk out and that's it. I mean, it will put so many people out of work. I mean, we all want the immediacy that, the technology, but they're creating something that I don't think it's going to be irreversible because, what are people going to do? I mean, it's a legitimate concern. across the board.
Have some powerful information on that, so we could do that. Moving forward, a few weeks from now or so, then I think it'd be great. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, guys. Well, Michael, you got anything to say to the audience while we call it a day?
Hey, if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's the best thing I can say too. If you don't use it, you lose it, man.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Hey, thank you guys so much.
Pleasure, guys. As always, always enjoyed the our lovely conversation every Sunday morning. And everybody out there, if you're watching, got to take care. You got to respect that temple. You got to start with you. Everything starts with you. And if you are complete and whole and you love yourself, you have so much more to offer to everybody around you. Make the commitment to yourself.
And be sure to subscribe and share the show.
Yes.
And we want that Swedish audience, Michael.
Yes. They're slowly coming.
Slowly coming out.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. All right, guys. So,
hey, guys. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you all, man.
Yes, God bless you too. Thank you, Tony.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Work them arms, work them legs, strong for